Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro, friends. Today's episode of the podcast is brought to you by Elixir Specialty Coffee. Looks like whiskey, feels like tea, made from coffee, and unlike anything you've tasted before, Elixir is currently available from elixirspecialtycoffee.com. Click the link in the show notes below. If you're in Canada, we are currently sending 2 Elixir Trios for the price of 1. So click on the link and grab your Elixir today. All right, friends, today is the second last episode of the Daily Coffee Pro for this year. And next year, we've been alluding to this in the lead up to the end of this year, but we've been talking about how we're going to do some new things next year and grow and develop this podcast, particularly the Daily Coffee Pro section. So I'm keen on finding a way for this platform, the Daily Coffee Pro, to be more suited to addressing the specifics of what your challenges are. And so what we're going to be doing is giving you the opportunity to send this podcast letters via email, or well, let's just keep it to email for the moment, but sending us questions and we will address them on this podcast. We can keep you anonymous, it's fine. If you have any questions or any kind of situations or challenges that you would like addressed on this podcast, and we will do that. I haven't figured out exactly what we're going to call this segment next year, but it is going to be purely for you. So this would be the perfect opportunity. Let's say if you wanted to get consulting from somebody and didn't quite have the funds to do that, this is an opportunity to send through an email and I will talk about it. And for everyone if you've got the question, I guarantee somebody else does. So I haven't asked permission to reveal this person's name, but this is a really great question. And so I won't be revealing the name, but I will read you out the email and I will make sure that I don't use any names to reveal who it is. Okay. Hello, Lee. I have a question. As I shared with you before, my brother and I decided to launch a roasting company. Recently, I met with a cafe owner and investor in talks of possibly moving into wholesale coffee for them. Side note, I currently am employed by this company as the coffee manager. My brother and I walked into the meeting with high vibes and positive outlook. The owner previously gave us a ton of encouragement to launch the roasting company. A week before the meeting, we sent the owners an email with a proposed rate of $8 per pound for the first coffee we will be serving in comparison. In comparison, the similar coffee by Counterculture, who is the present wholesaler, is selling to the cafe at $11 per pound. We also offered the option to white label. My brother and I love this company and our hope is to work with them. The meeting did not go as planned. The lead investor abruptly said we are making too much on them at $8 a pound. Our markup is too high, in brackets, not sure how he knows what our spendings are, and he wants a transparency report as to what we are spending on green so that they can advise us as to how much they believe we should get paid to roast. I am confused here. Is it okay for a wholesale account to demand this? The cafe owners have never worked in coffee and are not familiar with how green coffee buying, roasting, and coffee service works. To me, this just seems to be a preposterous demand. Am I wrongfully offended? What should my attitude be? Thanks so much. This is a wonderful question. And to the person who sent it in, thank you. I know that you know that this is going to be I just messaged you and told you that we were going to be reading this. So the situation is, just to summarize it again, this person, let's call them Bob and Bob's brother are starting a roasting company while Bob is working as the coffee manager for a cafe. And he has been encouraged by the cafe, who are also going to be investors in his business, to become wholesale roasters. They are going to sell their coffee at $8 per pound to the cafe, who are currently buying the same coffee at $11 per pound. And from a very well-known brand in the market. The cafe owner, who is also the investor, has come back and said, you're making too much money off us, and we want to see what you're paying for the coffee, green. Now, the question here specifically is, am I wrongfully offended? What should my attitude be? Also, the question is, am I confused here? I am confused here. Is it okay for a wholesale account to demand this? Wonderful, wonderful questions. Let's break this down. Is it okay for a wholesale account to demand this? Well, it depends on what your philosophies are about your buying philosophy as a green buyer. And what I mean by that, if transparency and traceability is important to you, if you can justify the amount of money that you are paying the farmer and you are using transparency as a model to propel your brand, so it's a part of your value statement, it's a part of your buying philosophy, it's a part of your practices as a business, then transparency, which seems to be a cool thing, won't bother you. But the reason that you would do that is to demonstrate that that is the practice that you are partaking in. It formulates any wholesale customer that's going to ask you this is simply checking to make sure that this should be the reason that they're asking, is checking to make sure that the producers got paid a fair price for the coffee. And your statement of transparency and traceability should be driven towards being able to demonstrate that that's what you're doing and why you have a transparency model. In this case, however, this is not what is being done. And you run the risk of this kind of thing happening when it comes to traceability and transparency. Not traceability, just transparency. Now, if someone comes to you and says, you're selling the same coffee as Counterculture, and I know what you paid for it, and I think you're making too much money, this is where things like a cost breakdown analysis, and if you want some details on how to do a cost breakdown analysis, check out a previous version of the podcast. But knowing how to do a cost breakdown analysis will help you justify exactly why you are charging the price that you are charging per pound. And I have been working just very recently, the last couple of weeks, with a client, and we did a cost breakdown analysis for them. They're starting up brand new, and a part of their buying philosophy is very strictly about making sure that they won't work with coffees that a fair price hasn't been paid at origin. And the process that we went through got them really shocked about actually what's involved with regards to costing out a pound of coffee. When somebody comes to you and they make a statement like this, you're making too much money off of me, but you can actually go to them and say, well, if you want a transparency report, I'm not going to only show you the price of what it costs to roast this, to buy this green coffee. You need to have transparency into what it's costing me to roast this coffee and where all the other expenses. Let me show you where that $8 goes. Now, you don't have to justify your business practices to anybody. But when you can, when you are able to, it can really put people in their place. What I would suggest, and this goes to the next thing, am I wrongfully offended? I don't think you are wrongfully offended. because it's not as though they said to you, we want to support your business, so give us a fair price and we're going to move forward with it. And based on what they're currently paying right now, which is $11 per pound, you're saving them $3. That's a really great break for them. $3 a pound is going to make them some money. They're going to save some money on that. What they're saying is, we want to support your business provided that we're the biggest winners from supporting your business, not you. And that doesn't sit well with me. I'm somebody who believes that when you're doing good business, it works for everybody that's involved. And call me an idealist, but I've been in business 5 years now with Elixir, and we're doing well. When we find people to do business with that are aligned with us and it's a win-win, business is fun. Business is great. It's also very fucking hard. But shit like this makes business unnecessarily difficult. And that's just my opinion. Other people will tell you this is the kind of stuff that makes business, challenging, intriguing, and competitive and all that fun stuff. I'm not about that. I don't think that we live fulfilled, rich business lives by trying to fuck each other over. And it sounds like these people are saying to you, we're going to invest in your business. We need you to be of service to us in a way that's detrimental to you. And that would be my take on it. I would approach moving forward. I know you haven't asked how you should be moving forward with this, but I'm going to add that anyway. Moving forward, what I would suggest is that you go back to them with a cost breakdown analysis. Do the cost breakdown analysis and tell them why you cannot sell it to them for any cheaper than $8 per pound. And make sure that you include in that cost breakdown analysis a full breakdown of all the expenses that you're going to incur, not just to make that 1 pound. What it's going to cost, including the fixed costs that you incur across a full month. And then wait for their response and decide whether you want to do business with them or not. Now, I believe it was Sun Tzu in The Art of War that always said never negotiate from a position of desperation. If you are in a position of desperation, and a lot of people going into business are, I would caution you. Because what it sounds like from this is these people know that you don't have the money to float yourself. And given that they are investing in you, they are going to take you to the cleaners. And this to me doesn't sound like the beginnings of a healthy working relationship. So I would tread carefully and I would tread with caution. And if you are coming from a place of desperation, pull back and reassess. Reassess what exactly it is you're looking for. Who is the perfect person that you should establish a partnership with or an investment with? And what are the exact terms of that partnership? Because it sounds like from this that you have been kind of taken aback, and you said it, the meeting didn't go to plan. So I wonder if you have any kind of terms of what the partnership would look like, or the investment opportunity would look like. Are they looking to recoup their financial investment through the pounds of coffee that you're selling them? So for example, let's say they float you $50,000. What they may say is, we want to recoup that $50,000 by lowering the price of our coffee that you sell us by $2 per pound up until we hit the $50,000 mark. Now that's a absolutely reasonable way to look at this. It's one option to do it, but I'm not sure that that's what they were doing here. I really hope this has helped. We are going to continue to do this next year as a brand new segment of the Daily Coffee Pro. If you would like to send us your questions, starting January next year. So you can start sending them from January the 1st. Send your emails to support@mapitforward.org, and we will happily do more and more of this, because I think this is the most valuable kind of content that we can do, is really address the specific questions that you have moving forward. We have one more Daily Coffee Pro coming tomorrow, and then we are done for 2019. Peace, love, and peanut butter, friends. Have an amazing rest of your day.